Okay, shalom, shalom, kwame sha'ala, koholimla Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rachachwadash, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth, and just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan Nawak. Just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. Just scrolling through the news, seeing where the Spirit leads. Came across this one right here. Top U.S. general privately pushes for off-ramp from Iran war. Well, hey, the Lord is going to keep this thing going. Y'all can try and stop it all you want. The Lord got it going. And the Lord is the one that's going to, keep this thing going. So it says General Dan Caine, I think they call him Brazen Caine, has lobbied key cabinet officials, warning that escalation options could backfire and air power alone won't achieve Trump's objective. Well, you got is the small tops, man, that's in control of all this shit. They're not about to allow you to stop, buddy. You're going to continue. They're not having these talks of drafting your sons and daughters for nothing. You're going to go to war for Israel. The least of the flock shall draw them out, according to the scriptures. And you're going to fight, man. And you're not coming back. This guy right here, he'll be kicked back somewhere, in a bunker-style hookup. He's not going, and I'm willing to bet you none of his sons or daughters or anybody is even in the military serving. If they are, they're not going to go on the front line. It's going to be you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you Israelites. That's why we tell you, leave these people alone, man. These people have been at war for 250 years straight, damn near, man. They're not going to stop, and they keep starting shit. But see, with this one right here, the Lord has got to the point of showing that they are the bully, and the bully is being handled right now. Being ragdolled, basically. Okay, but it says, General Dan Caine, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, has privately urged VP Vance, J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and CIA Director Ratcliffe to find an exit from the nearly 6-month-old war, according to CNN. And they're trying to get out of there. Why? Because they can't win. They're not going to win. The economy is fucked up. Everything is fucked up. And then they know when these midterms come along, you got Muslims winning elections like it's nothing here in America, which is supposedly a Christian country, because you Christians have let your people down, basically, and you're just a fuck up. It says, now the next bullet point they have on here, and if you want to get these articles, that particular one right there with CNN, with, he's privately urging these, these people to, hey, get us an off-ramp, man, do something. We get us the fuck out of this shit, without basically making it look like we gave up or saying we lost. Because that's all that it is. It's that pride. Pride cometh before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. It's the pride of Esau that won't allow Trump to go on TV and say, hey, we're pulling out of there. Well, you ain't even got to say we lost. We know you lost. Reporters might ask, well, why are you pulling out? They might ask that. Okay, well, you give them them bullshit ass answers that you normally would give. Some of them lies, we just, we're moving on, and then too, what's that? I seen another article earlier of them trying to press forward. Dang, was it on the radio I was listening to? But anyway, they've given these contractors 21 days to basically come up with, I guess, their plans to produce more weapons faster. They need shit now, because what's going on with Russia and Ukraine over there, that shit is a shit show too, because Ukraine don't have no more missiles, and this guy was somewhere. Where the fuck was he at? I can't think where he visited for the first time. I'm trying to think what country that was, and he looked like a dwarf to that whoever that president was. I can't think of the guy's name right off, but he's still trying to gather up money and gather up because they had a couple of little victories with some drone strikes and shit like that. But that's not enough, man. You're not going to long-term beat Russia, man. Russia got too much shit. And they're really taking their time and being patient with you you Ukrainians, man. Because they don't have to necessarily go up in there and just completely destroy the damn place to win that war. Okay, but the next bullet point they have on here is from ABC News, if you want to look this one up. The CSIS analysis found Patriot interceptor stockpiles depleted by roughly 2/3 and THAAD inventories cut in half, with a U.S. official calling stockpiles extremely low. And again, I seen something else too where they were giving them 21 days. Matter of fact, it says you can ask a follow-up. Let me see if I can ask this follow-up real quick. This is the Perplexity app. Let's just put in what company did they give 21 days to build back up the stockpile. Let's just see what pops up here. Just asking a general question. Okay, it says Deputy Defense Secretary Steve Feinberg, and you already know that's a small top, sent a memo on Wednesday, August 5th, giving major U.S. defense contractors no more than 21 days to submit plans for faster production and delivery schedules of critical munitions. See that? Major contractors named. The memo was directed at major defense companies, explicitly naming Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and RTX Corp, formerly Raytheon, as recipients. And you can get that in Arkansas Online. These firms were told that years-long development cycles are not acceptable and that they must dramatically accelerate program schedules and expand production capacity. And that's also Arkansas Online. So, and you know this guy's a small, you can look at the name, Feinberg, you know he's a small top. You know he's one of the Jerry Curl sideburn guys, man. Okay, it says related framework agreements. Along with the 21-day directive, the Pentagon has been separately building out broader supply agreements with both established primes and newer defense tech startups to address the shortfall. Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman, a framework agreement announced this month to boost production of PAC-3 and THAAD missile interceptors. Lockheed Martin also received a separate contract worth up to $58.6 billion to triple PAC's production by 2030. See, this is where all your money going. This is where all your tax money going. You know, for you Americans, man. This is where all your money is going. The directive targets critical capability gaps, including wide area surveillance, air defense sensors, and interceptors and missile tracking systems, reflecting the strain from the Iran war on Patriot and THAAD interceptor stocks in particular. Notably, this industry push comes even as Trump has publicly pushed back against reports of broader U.S. munitions shortage. See, he's fronting like, and I watched it. I've done a lesson on it. I spoke on it in the lesson, but I watched him on TV talk about that. Trump. You know, now he wants to basically find the people that kind of put this news out there and call them treasonous, but the news is the news. It's out there. What do you mean? He actually said it. You know, he actually said something about them using older missiles or older equipment, but he tried to soup it up and say, well, it was just as effective, but, you know, because a lot of these countries, they've been using old shit anyway. Iran been using old shit. You've been using all your new shit for some shit they've been had. Some cheap ass drones, and you using some drones that cost like $5,000 to $10,000 to make, and you using $12 million to $15 million Patriot missiles to shoot down a $10,000. That shit's stupid. It's stupid, bro. But these are, you know. It's that scripture that talks about, let me see where it talks about the wisdom of teaming. Basically, let me get that one. I think it's in Isaiah 14. Let's get that one. 14, and as thou become as weak as we. I think that's where it's at. I might be wrong. Yeah, it's verse 10. Isaiah 14 and 10. Let me put a highlight on this. It says, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy viols. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. And basically, yeah, your might and your power is buried with you, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you're no longer that mighty country, or you're not in power like that no more. Your power has dwindled, man. This is Isaiah 47 and 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. Because you're basically being called a virgin because you've never been popped. Basically, you've never had to go through the turmoil of what you've done to other countries. Like yesterday, I think it was the 81st anniversary of the bombing of Japan. Yesterday, I watched some of that on TV. You had a whole bunch of so-called Japanese, Amon, with their heads down, bowing, and because they had a moment of silence, ceremony or whatever, looking all sad and crazy as hell. And then you got a woman that's running your country, and y'all allies with the very people that bombed your shit. That's why the scripture says to never trust thine enemy. But you've completely bowed to these people, because Japan is no more than an American country. It's just with Japanese people there. They're tributaries basically. Isaiah 47 and 1 again. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Yeah, people looking at you like you crazy as hell right now. You're no longer being called tender and delicate. You're no longer being looked at as that country to come to make them fortune and the American dream. All your citizens are fucked all up. They're fat. They're obese. They're sad. They're depressed. They can't afford any damn thing. And then here you go. You got all this fucking money to give towards this war. And people sick of that shit. You got these, I was looking at, what's this lady? AOC? Ortiz. Damn, what's her name? She's kind of cute. Little politician. I can't think of her name all right off. But anyway, she was, it was an article, which I guess she was talking about how, this younger generation is pissed off, and they are. Because they don't have no future. Only future they have is signing up for that military and taking their asses over there and being cannon fodder, man. They that's it, man. They don't have nothing else going on. It's nothing happening for them, man, positively here. Let's go back. And that was pretty much what I wanted to ask in that follow. They gave me a decent follow-up on that. But let's go back. Let's see here. What did it do? Let me see if I can. Oh, shit. Did it come out of it? No, it didn't. Okay, so they had a third bullet point, and I'm going to end out. I didn't want to keep it long. It says, plans for aggressive new strikes were shelved late July after Gulf allies warned of Iranian retaliation against their energy infrastructure, CNN reported. So now with that, you got these countries, they like, they're not being protected by the U.S. no more. The U.S. got all those bases over there and doing all this different shit, but they're not being protected. You're not the big bad guy anymore. People just pushing, bullying security now. It's like being at a club and some nigga just run up and just, sock the security. Like, nigga, we going in. Fuck out of here. But check this out. This article right here, because this right here is a play on that. Saudi Arabia, which is an ally of America. Turkey, which, they have the second top military in NATO. Pakistan, which they are a nuclear might too. And I think they all share borders. If I'm not mistaken. Signed a mutual defense pact in Mecca. So you got Saudi Arabia, they like, man, fuck you Americans. We about to get somebody that's going to really get down if we need some help. So you Americans looking doofy right now. It says the NATO-style agreement treats an armed attack on any of three nations as an attack on all. It's like NATO. It's a NATO-style agreement. Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Pakistan signed the Mecca Joint Defense Agreement on Friday, pledging collective defense among three major Sunni Muslim powers. See, these Muslims. Then you got Muslims in America winning elections that you so-called white people should be winning. You're through, man. The Lord is breaking y'all asses down. The pact unites Saudi oil wealth, Pakistan's nuclear arsenal, and Turkey's NATO-grade military amid escalating threats from Iran-backed forces in the region. And, still, they dealing with Iran, though, because Turkey, they deal with Iran. You got a couple of little, some offshoot warriors, or I would say militaries, different names, you know what I'm saying? They kind of do their own thing, but they are under Iran's, umbrella, so to speak, So Iran can probably possibly talk to him, but I seen another article where Iran was talking about Saudi Arabia. You're not safe, man, because if anything, because see, you still got American interests over there. You still got bases, even though Iran has torn a lot of that shit up. They done bombed most of America's shit up over there. America really don't have nothing else over there really like that. But these Iranians told them, "Hey, look, man, if anything come from off y'all shit, you're not in the clear. Basically, you're not in the clear. We don't give a fuck about this pact that you got with them. Your ass can still get it too." So I seen that. I think it was yesterday. It says officials, third bullet point on here, officials describe the agreements as purely defensive, saying it is not directed at any specific actor and remains open for other countries to join, so other countries can get in on it. Hell, Iran can even join. I think I'm seeing that. If I'm not mistaken. Let me ask a follow-up. Can Iran join? Because they already, Turkey got, Turkey is playing both sides of the fence and always kind of have anyway. They're going to play part in coming up against you Babylonians, you modern day Egyptians here in America, man, because everybody is sick of y'all asses. It's thinking. It says Iran is highly unlikely to join the Mecca Pact, and its own officials have reacted with hostility rather than interest towards the agreement. Yeah, and I seen that. They like, nah, you Saudi Arabia, your ass can still get it. Iran is currently the target of the very conflict that prompted this pact. The U.S.-Israeli campaign against Iran and its retaliatory strikes. And you have to realize too that Turkey and Israel, they don't get along. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Israel want to attack Turkey too. So you got to keep all that in mind. You have to keep all that in mind. It says its retaliatory strikes on Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states are what pushed Riyadh, Ankara, and Islamabad to sign the first place. Reuters noted that Iran did not immediately comment on the signing itself, but Tehran's subsequent reaction has been openly skeptical. A senior Iranian official warned the pact will not agree. Slovakia. The Iranian official warned the pact will not guarantee Saudi Arabia security. That's what I was talking about. And Iranian officials and clerics have criticized the closer military cooperation between the three signatories. Because, Pakistan, man, they nuclear ready, man. Officially open, but not to adversaries. Turkish officials insist the pact is defensive under UN Charter Article 51 and open to friendly states, with the Turkish official explicitly saying other regional countries could join, comparing the potential expansion to how NATO has grown over time. However, Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan clarified the practical logic of membership. Any country that does not attack us is not a target for us, implying inclusion is contingent and non-hostile behavior rather than a blanket open invitation. Given that Iran and its proxies have been actively striking Saudi Arabia, why they been striking them? They've been striking them because you motherfuckers, you got U.S. military bases there. That's fucking with them. They hitting everything that's got to do with the U.S. over there. If the U.S. wasn't there, they wouldn't be getting struck. It says, given that Tehran currently sits on the opposite side of the security equation the pact was built to address, making its membership incompatible. Well, okay, so, but anyway, hey, things could change. You never can tell. Because this guy, this president of Turkey, Erdogan, if I'm not pronouncing his name right, he's pretty he doesn't fall for the bullshit of these Americans. He's not locked in with the Israeli shit. He's not. He thinks for himself. I will put it that way. Well, he thinks for his country. He's not. He doesn't seem to be bought. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? All I know is he doesn't bootlick America or none of that shit like that. You know, he comes on and he's straightforward about business. I've seen him a few times, and you know, even with the things with Donald Trump, you know, Donald Trump was basically licking his ass, you know what I'm saying, when they met up the last time. Because Trump, he respects power. Because he know that them guys are not playing no games. You know, that fucking... This guy not on TV acting like Trump in no way. I'll put it that way. Because Trump is just a damn idiot, man. You ask me. He goes on TV and act like a 3-year-old, man. Anyway, we got the jobs lost. Puerto Rico begins 48-hour water rationings. That's crazy work. Water is a big deal right now, man. Yeah, ballroom bullshit. There's a lot of shit going on, man. There's so much shit in the news. U.S. intel warns Putin may test NATO with limited attack. Yeah, man. It's all going down. Well, the Lord is the one. Let me just grab one more, because the Lord is in control of all these leaders' minds, and whatever the Lord wants to go down, that's how it's going to go down. No matter what agreements or what pacts these people make, because even the Lord is involved in that. You know, the Lord, matter of fact, let's get this real quick. Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, Yahweh, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. So these men's hearts are in the hands of the Lord, man. The Lord is the one that's directing them. And matter of fact, let's get Job. I'm trying to think, is it 33? I always mix this up. Is it 33 and 15, or is it 3 and 15? Yep, 33 and 15. Because the Lord, he deals with people while they're in their sleep, man. You know what I'm saying? He can deal with you throughout the day. He can actually, you know, give you a vision, broad daylight. You know what I'm saying? But Job 33 and 15, it says, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumbering is upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction, that he may withdraw man from his purpose, and hide pride from man. So the Lord is the one that's controlling these men. He's the one that's making these moves, man. You know? But see, they're not spiritual. They don't get it. And the Lord created it to be that way. They're not spiritual men. They're not spiritual in that sense that, you know, on the left-hand side they are, you know. But they're going to do exactly what the Lord wants them to do, because the Lord said, you know, what's that, Daniel 4:17? The Lord, he ruleth in the kingdom of men and giveth it to whomsoever he wants to have it, roughly paraphrasing. And, you know, he gives it to the bases of men. So you Edomites, really, you know, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, it talks about how you're the end of the world. You so-called white people, this is your end. You're the end of the world. And Jacob, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the beginning of it that follows. Because if you notice, think about it. The only people on the planet that don't have no say in anything in the world when it comes to these kinds of situations, as far as world war or, you know, what's going on in the earth, you know, we don't have no say. We're the only people on the planet. Think about that. That in itself proves that we're the Israelites. That in itself should show you that we're the Israelites. You know, you may have a person say, well, nah, you niggas just suck. You're not good at anything. No, we're great at every damn thing. You can see it from, you know, they try and just make it seem from a physical aspect, like, you know, we can just jump, run, and do all this other shit. No, we're smart too, motherfucker. We're just as brilliant. We just don't have those tools and opportunities that you Edomites have, because you're in control and this is your kingdom, and you won't allow us to have any of those tools to prove these things. But, you know, Jake be coming up with a lot of inventions and stuff, and then you take it and you whitewash every damn thing, you know. But anyway, the point is, you Edomites are on your way out of here. You're the... Like you're trying to back up here. But yeah, you Edomites, man, your kingdom is done. You've run your course. And you should be happy about it, man, because you had a good run. That's the thing. He's not, you know, he's gonna try and continue to keep his kingdom going. And that's a delusion, man. He's delusional. That shit, your shit is a done deal, man. It's like having a car and the fucking engine knocking, and you like, oh man, nah, this motherfucker is straight, it's good. Motherfucker smoking, you know what I'm saying? It's got a fucking oil leak and all this other shit, and that bitch, you know, nah, you ain't got much time for this boy before it breaks down, bro. It's a done deal, you know. But anyway, I'm gonna end out there. Just wanted to just touch on something, and there's so many things in the news, man. You know, we could have went on and on and on. Could have went into the tech, science, the business, and all that stuff like that. See, this guy that set all these damn fires out here in Spokane. He set 25 blazes. Esau. Anyway, it's a lot going on, man. So I'm in out there. Pray that the lesson was edifying. Kwame Yashala and a Bible ball.